Hey there, campers, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark, and we're going to be taking a look at some Star Wars Unlimited cards today with Shadows of the Galaxy just right around the corner. I'm doing a series of videos here where we're taking a look at least at the leaders. If you're preparing either for decks that you're excited to check out, maybe you haven't stayed too tuned in to what's going on with the Shadows of the Galaxy set coming out here in early July, or you're getting ready to head to a pre-release event and you want to know what my opinions are on each of the leaders, we're taking a look at them one aspect at a time. Today, we're taking a look at the command aspect, and we have 5 leaders to make our way through. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's jump right in with our first. We do have 5 leaders in command. 3 of them are villainy because of the starter decks, and 2 are heroism. We have a Hondu here. That's good business. He has the underworld keyword, once again an important keyword, and it says this: when you play a card using smuggle, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, give an experience token to a unit. Okay, let's go over what smuggle is first. Smuggle is a new keyword and probably the one I'm arguably the most excited for in this set. Smuggle means that you can play cards from your hand into your resource row, and if they have a smuggle cost, you may in the future exhaust resources, including the smuggled resource, in order to play a resource from your resource row with a smuggle cost into your play area. So it allows you to literally play down cards in your resource row that you can later play onto the board. And then after you do that, you get to take the top card of your deck and, you guessed it, put it in your resource row. So it doesn't even hurt your energy or your resource efficiency. You can still grow in resources and smuggle cards onto the battlefield. I am personally very excited for that mechanic. I know a lot of people aren't super excited, I don't think, for Hondu himself, but I personally am, because I'm excited for the smuggle mechanic. So this just says you can exhaust your leader if you do give an experience token to a unit. The nice thing is this does not hurt your action economy. If you're already going to be smuggling something out, as long as that smuggling stuff is good, then you can also throw an experience token onto that unit. Permanent upgrade, +1/+1. That seems very good. He flips on 6, which, is a little bit late. But whenever he does flip, he comes out raid 1. So he's a 3/7 on 6. Of course, we know Boba Fett, sort of like the marker for what's really strong, is a 4/7 on 5. So it's a little rough. It's a little rough, and it says this raid 1. So it is a 4 attack when it's attacking. So that's not bad. When you play this card, when you play a card using smuggle, you may give an experience token to a unit. So you don't even have to exhaust Hondu in order to do that. So you get Hondu out, you start just tossing out your cards that you've smuggled down as resources, and now you can just start tossing out those experience tokens, and you could give it to him. I personally think Hondu's really quite cool, and I personally think very powerful. I think the smuggle keyword itself could theoretically be very strong, especially if it synergizes with things like Hondu. I will admit that some of those smuggle costs basically always increase the cost of getting the card out, so you end up getting an understated thing. Hondu might be able to help you make up for that a little bit. So there is going to be a balancing act. You're not going to play a full smuggle deck, but you are going to play likely maybe a few cards that have smuggle in order to surprise your opponent, not deplete your hand. That seems pretty good. Let's just take a quick look at his hyperspace variant. His hyperspace variant is nice. I don't think that his card art is fantastic. It's not awful, but I don't think it's fantastic. His alt art, though, his showcase, really cool. Seeing Hondu with, his pet, sort of like the equivalent of a pirate's parrot, with some of his crew in the backdrop, kind of as that charismatic leader that he is in the animated series. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm a fan of Hondu, even if he's not going to be super strong. I like him because I personally just really like the smuggle mechanic. Let's move on to Jabba the Hutt, our second villainy for command, a villainy leader for command. Jabba the Hutt, his high exaltedness, underworld, and Hutt keywords. I hope we get something with that Hutt keyword in the future. But hey, let's move on. Action: choose a unit, and for this phase, it gains bounty. The next unit you play this phase costs 1 less. So we explained bounty in some of my other videos, but basically, if something has a bounty and that thing is either removed through things like capture or is removed through damage, you just take it from the board, your opponent is going to collect the bounty that's on your character, on that unit. And so I could throw a bounty out on something and then remove it with either a capture or just removing it with damage or some combat. And then I can play a unit, I can exhaust him as an action, which is a little bit slow. Exhaust him as an action, and then I get to play something that costs 1 less. I think that's strong because ramp is very good. You're already playing it in command, so you're likely already playing some ramp. So you play some ramp, Jabba helps you ramp up a little bit more. I mean, you could squeak out some stuff very early with Jabba and just get some large, overstated stuff. I'm going to be playing Jabba just because I'm going to be playing Jabba Green Cunning, and we're going to be playing some like control ramp stuff, throwing in some of the really strong, super cool bounty hunters and high cost cards. Let's take a look at his back. He does flip at 7, which is wildly late, but you are once again probably going to be playing some ramp in this deck, so maybe that's not too bad. At 7 resources, if you think about this, like on, well, I guess on turn 2, you were able to get out your one of your guys. Yeah, okay. I was thinking about being able to get out your super laser technician early, but you're not going to be able to get him out on turn 1 for this because the stuff you play is going to be exhausted. Okay, a 212. I mean, not a lot of attack, but what a beefy butt. I mean, you're going to have to churn through this dude, man. You're going to have to throw a lot of stuff at him. Unfortunately, on turn 7, you're going to have a lot of big beefy stuff to throw at him. So, you know, he's probably going to absorb 2 hits, even at turn 7, maybe 3 hits at turn 7. He's going to ping a little bit of damage. He's just very unlikely to actually remove stuff, which I think is very fitting for Jabba. It says this, when deployed, another friendly unit captures an enemy non-leader unit. Here's the capture mechanic. Basically, you get to take that unit, put it underneath of your unit, and it's captured there. If your unit then gets removed or bounced, that captured, the unit that was underneath of you that was captured goes back to its owner. So he does let you remove something right in the beginning, which is nice. And he has action, choose a unit for this phase, it gains bounty. The next unit you play this phase costs 2 less. So he does get a little bit better. You know, once you're at 7 resources, how much more do you need to cheat and ramp? I'm not sure. I'm not sure the answer to that question. But I think Jabba's interesting, albeit maybe not really strong, because set 2, guys, is going to refine a lot of cards. A lot of decks are going to see refinement, and Jabba may just end up being a little too slow. Let's take a look at his hyperspace variant. Looks good. The hyperspace variant looks very good. Yeah, very good. This is going to be your rare as well. Let's take a look at the showcase. Oh, man, yes. The showcase looks fantastic. Just looks like the movie. Like the showcase a lot. Not that I'll ever get it, probably, but I'll definitely get my hands on this hyperspace variant. I really like this artwork. I really like the direction they went with Jabba. Feels that strong underworld vibe to me, and I'm definitely going to be playing some Jabba the Hutt. This Moff Gideon is going to be a card that you're going to get in the 2-player starter bundle, which is going to come with Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian. I want to make note of a couple of things. They haven't really told us exactly where these are going to come in, but you can get the hyperspace variant of this card, and we'll take a look at this, a showcase variant, which, you know, we were able to get hyperspaces of the leaders that came in the 2-player starter kit, which were Vader and Luke, correct? We were able to get hyperspace variants of them, but only at conventions. And there is no showcase variants of them, but there is a variant in the pre-release kit. So, the showcase variant at least is new in this. Moff Gideon has an action, attack with a unit that costs 3 or less. If it's attacking a unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack, so a little bit more board control. Attack with a unit that costs 3 or less if it's attacking unit. So you can just attack with the unit either way. So it's not really an aggressive strategy, but it is a good board control strategy, especially if you have Overwhelm. He does flip on 5 which is pretty good. On his flip, he's a 3/6 with Overwhelm, and each friendly unit that costs 3 or less gets +1/+0 and gains Overwhelm while attacking an enemy unit. Well, Moff Gideon does feel like a slightly better Tarkin to me, and I like Tarkin, right? Like, take a look. Like, I'm playing Tarkin a lot recently. I'm playing Red Tarkin, Tarkin Town. I like Tarkin. He seems like he's probably a slightly better Tarkin to me. The 3/6 on 5 is a decent stat line. You do get the 4/7 with the, we compare everything to it, Boba Fett. So he is worse than that. He does get the Overwhelm. Do you really want Overwhelm on 3 attack? Well, and then everything that costs 3 or less gets +1/+0 and Overwhelm. So if you get some high statted, you get your Death Star Stormtroopers, you get a couple of other cards that cost at that 3 mark with maybe 4 attack, your swoop bike racers and stuff. It isn't limited to just Imperials. I think that's good. This guy does have Imperial and Official, which I also think is important. Official synergizes very well with the Emperor's Royal Guard. Let's take a look at his Hyperspace. Hyperspace variant is beautiful. I love this sort of Death Trooper right here in the background. Let's take a look at his Showcase. I think the Showcase is also gorgeous. Really well done on the Showcase. Still got the Death Trooper in the background. I think that's great. I like Moff Gideon. He's not the flashiest card in the world. He's not the flashiest. But I think he and Kylo are going to compete for like the board-centric, slightly more aggressive board control-y strategy. Once again, I think personally he does what Tarkin does, just a little bit better. So if you enjoy Tarkin already, maybe Moff is a really good card for you. Let's move on to heroism cards. We have a new Boba Fett, but this Boba Fett is no longer a villainy. It's heroism and command rather than cunning Boba Fett. Let's see if he has any competition with the yellow, our yellow villainy Boba Fett, our cunning villainy Boba Fett. He reads, when you play a unit, when you play a unit that has 1 or more keywords, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, give a friendly unit +1/+0 for this phase. I like that just like normal Boba Fett, he is able to just use his ability in conjunction with another one, which allows you to keep control of that initiative marker a little bit easier. He does flip on 6. It says, each other friendly unit that has 1 or more keywords gets +1/+0. He is a 4/7 on 6, the same stat line as our previous Boba Fett, but just comes down 1 later. I think that the interesting thing is that you're going to use this ability all the time. And I think that's good. That's one of the things that makes, last set's Boba Fett very strong, is that you were very often using his ability. This is going to give you incremental advantages, but very consistent incremental advantages. You're going to play a deck that has all keywords in it. That's not going to be hard to do in set 2. Not going to be hard at all. And you're going to play it with Rebels. And so you could play a lot of the Red Rebel package, which is strong. I think Boba Fett will be a very strong, slightly more aggressive mid-range deck. The Hyperspace variant of this is stunning. I mean, it is absolutely stunning. It is gorgeous. The Showcase variant of it also, well, this side is horrible. This side, stunning. But honestly, this, for me, is hard to beat. If you would sell me this artwork on a display or on a poster or on a card back or on a desk mat, I would buy it hands down. I think this is absolutely beautiful artwork. I actually think that I prefer the Hyperspace over the Showcase in this case. I just don't, there's not much of a difference between it. I wish that the Showcase was completely different. Maybe we saw him out fighting or something. His arms sort of balanced on this, a little weird. I'm not really sure what's going on there. It's not bad, but I honestly think that the Hyperspace, which you're going to get very, very easily, and if you don't get it in the packs that you open, you can pick it up as a single for 50 cents usually, or maybe $1. well worth it to play the hyperspace variant of Boba Fett. I like him. Incremental advantages all throughout the game. A good aggressive strategy. A little bit more mid-rangey because he comes down on 6. Still a strong stat line. I think even on 6 and a 4-7, going to be hard to get rid of. I really like Boba Fett Dynamo. Dynamo? Yeah. The last one is Hunter. And this is going to be the first of our order, the 99th Legion, or I can't remember. The clone unit from Bad Batch. This is going to be the first of our clone unit from Bad Batch. We are going to get the full Bad Batch in this set, which is really cool. I really like the Bad Batch. I think they're super fun. We're getting them in Star Wars Legion here soon, and so I'm excited to pick them up for my Legion army. Hunter the Outcast Sergeant. Action, spend 1 resource and exhaust him. Reveal a resource you control. If it shares a name with a friendly unique unit, return the resource to its owner's hand and put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. Okay. Why would you ever want to do this? So you play, let's say you play down, let's go with a named card, a Sabine Wren. You have a Sabine Wren on the board, you have a Sabine Wren in your resource. You exhaust 1 to reveal the resource. It shares a name with Sabine on the board. Return Sabine to my hand and put the top card into my deck as a resource. I'm trying to figure out why that would ever be advantageous to me. I'm basically just wasting a resource to get something that I already have on the board that I cannot play until the thing that's on the board gets removed. So I could see this in like a villainy deck where it would be nice. You resourced a Vader early on. You played a Vader turn 7. It's going to get removed, so you reveal and pop the Vader from your resource row back into your hand to extend your resources further. Maybe you would do this with like a Han. Maybe there's a few others that you would do this with. I know this synergizes with the Bad Batch cards as well. I'm not super impressed by this. The back is going to flip at 7, which is so late. As a 5/8, 1 more health than Boba Fett, 2 turns later. He has Fringe and Clone. He does get Overwhelmed, not bad. And then he says, on attack, you may reveal a resource you control. If it shares a name with a friendly unique unit, return the resource to its owner's hand and put the top card of the deck into play as a resource. I'd be honest with you guys, maybe I'm missing something here. I personally think that Hunter might be the worst leader in this set. I think I'm the least impressed by Hunter. He just doesn't really have an ability that I want to use until the end of the game. And maybe there's a moment when having 2 of the same unique unit, 1 on board and 1 in hand, is going to be really advantageous for me to press an advantage and win a game. But frequently, I'm never going to use this, and he's not dropping till 7. If he had this ability and he came out on 5 with a good stat line, I might say, okay, he's a pretty good mid-range tool that in the end of the game, if I've drawn a second copy of something that I've resourced previously, I can get it and add fuel to the tank and just make sure that I have the cards in my hand that I want to be able to end the game. But it comes down so late, he really can't stall my opponent. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. His hyperspace variant doesn't look bad. Let's take a look at his showcase. Oh my gosh, his showcase is absolutely sick. I now think this card is better because of his showcase is gorgeous, guys. I mean, wow, that is absolutely stunning, beautiful. He's got the knife, he's got the blaster pistol. I'm a little disappointed that on the vertical side, his blaster pistol is behind his icons, but yeah, gorgeous. I mean, that's probably the best one we've seen so far out of the videos we've done. That's probably the best one. Okay, guys, that's going to about do it, though. Those are the 4. We got Hondu, we got Jabba, we got, we got Moff Gideon, Boba Fett in Heroism, and Hunter and Heroism. Let me know what you think, or if you think I've gotten one of these completely wrong and I'm totally missing it, let me know. I know for me, I'm probably going to put them in order of Boba Fett, Hondo, Jabba, Moff, and Hunter. Maybe Boba Fett, Hondo, Moff, Jabba, Hunter. I think I just have a little bit of an affinity for Jabba the Hutt. Even in my yellow Boba decks from set 1, I play Jabba just because I like Jabba the Hutt. Hunter's definitely my least favorite. I do think that the new Boba Fett is the most reliable, and I think maybe my favorite, and the artwork is so nice on that card. But let me know what your order is in the comments below. Come over and join us in Discord. You can find a link to that in the description of this video. As always, like and subscribe if you don't mind. It helps other people find the content that we're making. If you like Pokemon, Lorcana, or other card game content, stick around the channel and take a look at some of our other videos, because we got a lot of other great content out there covering not just Star Wars Unlimited, but other card games as well. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with me today here at Camp Legend. We'll see you in Discord, and hopefully we'll see you for the next video.